going on, everybody? This is Alvin J, the most passionate non-doctor on the internet. And speaking of passion, we're going to talk to you about that special time between you and your lady. And that's when things start to get hot and heavy, maybe even a little steamy. All right, between you two. But womp, 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 things tend not to work out. Today, we're talking about erectile dysfunction, otherwise known by its nasty cousin name, impotence. The ability not to get it up, all right? Not pulling the car into the garage, as they might say. Not being able to stick your hose into the faucet. That didn't make any sense. But let's move on. All right, so today we're going to get to some major stuff with regard to this, what they call a disease, not really. Now, does it really require medical attention? Like every single website on the internet tends to tell you that you need to go to a doctor, you need to start popping pills. You know, the first thing I found when I actually looked up on Google for erectile dysfunction, I wanted to see what would come up because I know a lot about this already, so I don't need to Google it, but I do like to make sure I know what's out there. And you know what came up? You know what ad came up? Do you know? Take a guess. Wait, who said that? Cialis or Viagra. It's one of the two that pop up at the top, and sometimes it's both. Now, I'm pretty sure that you men out there do not want to be taking a pill for the rest of your life just so you can have normal sex, okay? Having mind-blowing sex, all right, licking and twisting on each other and all that good, sweaty, hot, messy stuff, that's for another video, okay? But today, we're just trying to get you in the garage. Now, what we're doing here is we have to talk to you about the medical side of this, of course. So, if I can just reflect a little bit, let's get to some of these myths that they actually talk about that may actually cause this, and let's see if there's any validity to it. Let's start off with number one. First of all, I gotta ask the simple question. Just because you're 50 years old, does that mean that you automatically are going to have erectile dysfunction? Well, if you're a jaded, one-sided, listening to the media type of jerk-off, then maybe that's why you have erectile dysfunction. You know what? Just because you're 50 years old, maybe even 90, I'm going to go that high, 90, even 100, all right? People are still having sex in their 90s. So, why aren't you? Why are you 25 years old and not able to get it up when granddad is getting it on with grandma and they're having a good old time, a country time? Well, I'll tell you the answer, because nowadays when you actually go to the store, out to eat, anywhere, the things that we put in our bodies and the things that we're exposed to in the way of chemicals and the way of additives, preservatives in food, in the way of dyes and preservatives in sheets and soaps and deodorants and toothpaste, all that stuff is just meant and installed to break your physiology down. So, just because you're 50, I don't want you getting it in your head that you're finished. Sex is over for you. Me and my wife, we just talk. We don't do nothing else. The hell with that. I want to be getting it on doggy style for a long time, so you put your limitations on your sex life. I'm not going to do it on mine, all right? Let's get to myth number 2 here. The doctors also say that we have distended veins, okay, that may occur in the penis. Well, you know, arteries have to come into the penis. The penis has something called a specialized tissue called erectile tissue, and that erectile tissue actually holds on to blood and it slowly lets it seep into the vein. That would hardly have anything to do with your erection. Okay, so I don't think that's the case. Now, here's something that's going to actually blow that one out of the water. Now, let me tell you a little something about veins. Veins have valves ever so often to keep the blood flowing in one direction. But if you distend the vein or stretch it out, make it wider, you can actually have what is called varicose veins in the penis, meaning that the blood will run out faster. That's true. However, it's kind of nullified by the fact that you do have erectile tissue. Now, when a man gets an erection, he fills the penis with blood. Okay, the blood running into the penis is what allows a man to get an erection, and the blood staying in the penis is what allows him to keep an erection. Now, when we actually have this erection, the erectile tissue is so dense, it is folded on itself so many times that actually what's going to happen is the blood is going to be stuck inside of the penis, virtually stuck in something called the corpus cavernosum. All right, it's going to be stuck in there. Now, that in itself is bad enough. Now, we have men who cannot perform in the bed with their wives, but they can masturbate. Let's not use the cliche words. They're jacking off. And when they are, they're having no problems getting an erection. They can masturbate or play with themselves 2 times, even 3 times in a row when watching porn, but in the bed, they can't perform. Don't you find that a little strange? That means there's nothing wrong with the equipment, as most men would have you to believe, because Doc, there's got to be something wrong. You know, me and my wife are trying to do something, and all of a sudden, it just ain't working, Doc. So it's got to be something wrong with the equipment. So you got to give me a pill, you got to give me something. And the man is going through this ego trip when he's going through that. But it should tell you that the problem is psychological. Now, on a website that I found, I'm sure you've heard of it, it's called WebMD. All right, they got a lot of them out there, but I'm just going to pick on them. They're one of the biggest. And on their website, they specifically state that it's almost never psychological when it comes to an erection. It's usually always physical. All right, I have found quite the opposite, as I'm sure they have found on their very own website, on the very same page where it says that, if you scroll down, it says that mostly all of the problems attributed to erectile dysfunction actually happen because of mental, psychological issues. So which one is it? WebMD, you got to make up your mind. You can't have these people out there holding the one testicle in one hand and one testicle in the other hand. We got to choose. All right? So that's why you have somebody in the middle. The middleman is me in this case. You see, you can go read all the shit you want to on the internet. You can go talk to all the people you want to who have no idea about the penis, about the body, about physiology. But when you actually talk to somebody who has a background experience in the medical field and who teaches it on a daily basis, I can clearly tell you what's BS and what's not. Well, what I'm telling you is it's almost 89% of the time it's psychological. Let me explain this to you. When a man loses his job, it psychologically weighs on him. When a man is not being himself, it kind of weighs on him. Okay, so that in itself doesn't have to be all glamorous. That can cause erectile dysfunction. It's just that simple. I'm going to get back to more of that later, but let's get to this last cause of erectile dysfunction, and that one being that we have a blockage of blood to the penis. Now, that one is valid. Now, the other two, you're old, okay? Not valid, okay? Until you're 90, you should be able to tear it up with grandma, okay? The next one on there, your veins are distended. Well, if you can still masturbate, that means that that's not an excuse either. That means that your equipment is working just fine, therefore it has to be something else. So, let's get to the real 2 causes. I already gave you one. One is psychological. Real cause. The last one is blood flow blockage to the penis. Now, those are real. Now, let's get to some stuff that you might be doing on a daily basis that might actually contribute to this. Now, do any of you wake up and drink a nice big fat cup of joe in the morning? That big old cup of coffee. You know, the mug that's big enough to choke a dog. If they drank huge amounts of coffee that we're drinking. Some of you drink buckets. You go to Starbucks and spend $6 on a little cup of coffee. But no, you got to spend $24 because you've had 4 cups throughout the day. Come on, people. It ain't even that good. All right. Now, about this coffee. The only thing I'm going to say is caffeine doesn't do anything. Actually, it kind of helps your sperm move along a little bit, all right, as far as the speed. Doesn't help you produce more. It just helps along with the speed because they're jacked up on that caffeine. However, when you drink coffee, coffee is extremely acidic in nature. Therefore, if you start off your day with that and you keep drinking it to get your boost or 5-hour energy or Monster or Red Bull or Rockstar, if you're drinking these things to boost you up, of course, they're going to destroy your physiology. You'll feel great while it's doing it, but it'll destroy your body tissues and it'll destroy your blood chemistry. Now, if you want that to happen, fine. I'm not here to tell you how to run your life. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen if you continue to do that shit. Now, let's get to another cause here. Does anybody out there like hamburgers, pizza, hot dogs? All right, some of the most disgusting foods on this planet. Now, the pizza I can let you slide on because depending on where you get it, the pizza can be quite good. All right, hamburgers, there's no such thing as a good hamburger, but if you have a black bean burger, if you have a turkey burger, that's a different kind of burger, and then your big man downstairs won't suffer, you see? And how about those hot dogs? I hate to tell you, but there's no such thing as a good hot dog. Now, if you get kosher hot dogs, you get beef hot dogs, if you checked out the company where the hot dog comes from, you might be able to get a good one that is not tainted, all right? However, if you're eating regular Oscar Mayer hot dogs and these ones off the shelf, the cheapest hot dogs you can get, oh, they taste great. But I'm telling you, those hot dogs ain't gonna help your hot dog. All right, now let's get on to this next section here. Now, let me tell you about the last part. How about, are any of you taking medications? Are you taking vaccines? Things that are directly affected and directly to cause erectile dysfunction. You see, anytime you take a medication, it has an allosteric effect, meaning that it can change the receptors on your cells so that certain things don't work. That's how diabetes gets you. Your liver cells, your beta cells, cannot accept insulin anymore. So you see, and here in the penis, you change the receptors on your erectile tissue receptors, and now what happens? All right, blood flows right on through, and now we have no erection. All right, the erectile tissue can't hold on to the blood because you've changed the receptors. You see, they have to have something to bind to, like Viagra. Now, if you take Viagra Cialis and it works, that means that your receptors are okay. Okay, they're fine. That means that the drug can bind to those receptors. Now, the receptors, because of the drugs, still have been altered, and because the medical field knows that, they've crafted a drug that can attach to the altered receptor site. You see, it's all devious. It's meant so that you don't live a good life. It's meant to sell you shit. All right, I know you get tired of me saying it. Maybe you don't. I'm glad. That's why you keep watching, right? All right, so you can subscribe at the bottom. Don't be afraid. All right, now, if you guys are going to keep on doing this, let me give you some advice, all right? And I'm going to just tell you my story with erectile dysfunction. Because truthfully, in life, every man is going to go through it because at first you don't know. Until you run into somebody like me who has done studies on this and tried everything on themselves to get rid of it themselves, then you don't know exactly what's happening, but I do. All right, so let me tell you this little story. Let's end off with this, and maybe this will help you with some of your problems. Well, I am 40 years old now. I was about 34 years old, and when I was 34 years old, before I was married, before I had was dealing with a girlfriend or anything like that, I actually had problems with erectile dysfunction. So I thought that because I'm too young, I thought I was way too young to be having problems with the big man down there. If that is the case, what I wanted to do is I wanted to find something that will work, and really I was looking for a quick fix. So I started looking online, and like everybody does, you go to Google and you try to find things. So now everybody's trying to sell you a pill. I don't want to be on pills for the rest of my life, so no thank you. So I didn't buy any pills. Now, the next step I did was I found some videos. So when I found the videos, there was a bunch of guys talking about how they got rid of erectile dysfunction, how you should treat it as an addiction, and all that good stuff. And I was like, well, maybe that's the case. I was watching porn a lot. So if that is the case, and I'm watching these videos of these girls, these different girls every single time, and now I'm having mental images of these girls, and the only way that I can get more excited is to go to the next girl who is different, then that's causing a psychological issue inside my head. So I thought there has to be some validity to this thing that they're talking about. So I decided to give up porn for 2 months straight. 2 months, no nothing, no masturbating, no nothing. Okay, so just regular. If I didn't get it, I didn't get it, but it had to be with a woman. All right, so come to find out, in the 2 months that I didn't have sex, didn't masturbate, didn't do anything. So after the 2 months, I was like, okay. I started having really, really great, strong sessions. All right. Now, when I did, it only lasted 2 days. All right, so I took off 2 months and it only lasted 2 days. So I tried to keep going at it, and steadily, the erections did not get as strong as they used to, and they steadily went down. And I was like, well, there's something that's got to change here. So what I did was I went to the old health, what I was trained in. So I changed the diet, all right? Hamburgers, hot dogs, that'll make you give up all of that. When you become less of a man because you're not able to have sex the way you want to, that'll do something to you as a man, and now you will do anything to get that old fire back. And boy, did I. Now, when I did that, I changed my diet. I cut out all the processed stuff. I cut out all the white stuff, all right? Bread, pastas, sugars, flour, all that stuff. Came in cookies, right? Couldn't eat cookies, one of my favorite things. Couldn't eat cereal. Anything that had wheat in it, I got rid of it. It was all fruits and vegetables. Fruit and vegetable smoothies. It was salads, and it was organic everything, all right? Fruits, berries, nuts, all that stuff was in. Eggs, boom. Butter, it was in. And when I started doing that, I noticed that, boom, the power came back. All right, so, oh yeah, you didn't want to run it to me at that time, all right? You might have been in trouble. All right, so, but when I actually did this and I actually changed my diet, it was going good for a long time. It was like 4 or 5 months, and I was doing whatever I wanted, and my body was reacting exactly the way I wanted, and then it started to wane again. And what I did not realize is that as you get older and you start approaching 40, 50, 60 years old, your testosterone level drops. And I didn't realize that drop begins earlier and earlier because we're taking in something called glyphosates into our bodies, and those chemicals, which is basically Roundup Ready, what you use to kill the weeds, they spread on all the fruits. So that's why I swear by organic now, because I know there's no nutritional difference between organic and regular fruit. Really, there is none. The only difference is the regular fruit is coated with pesticides, and those pesticides alter your physiology severely. Okay, now to continue with the story, after these 5 months and the erections started going down a little bit, not much, just a little bit, and it just wasn't as powerful as they were. And now what happens is I lucked up on some research, and that's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to go deep, and sometimes you got to talk to people and in order to figure out some things about yourself. And you got to try these things. And what I tried was the simple act of being a man. Now, some of you are going to fall for this. They're going to ask you when you have these problems with your erections, they're going to automatically say you got low T. All right, that's the term nowadays, low T. When you got low T, those terms that they use to try to classify it as a disease so they can give you a pill for it, they just want you to come in and they want you to get the $500 injections. Okay, if you want to do that, have at it. It ain't my style. I don't go through the medical field to fix my problems. Now, what I did with my story is I actually went ahead and found out what actually produces testosterone in my own body. I thought it came from food, but in actuality, your body produces testosterone, and that's one and only hormones, that is the one and only hormone that comes from your testes. Get it? Testes, testosterone. All right, so that's where it comes from. And I didn't know that you could boost it naturally. So what I did naturally, I did change the diet, told you about that. The other I could say missing 30% of me having the most powerful erections I could ever have in my life was to become a real man. And we have lost the definition of that in society today. Now, when I say become a real man, all right, I don't mean go out and get a damn gun. I don't mean go out and beat somebody up, even though that's what alpha males do. All right, I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about being a real man as far as being true to your nature. You see, men aren't supposed to stay home and watch the kids. I know you ladies like that, all right? You like that in your man. But I'm going to tell you right now, if your man is at home and he's washing the dishes and he's watching the kids all the time, nothing wrong with doing the dishes every once in a while. Taking out the trash is the man's job. You see, when a man feels like a man, testosterone goes up. Just simply standing in a positive power stance like Superman, right? That right there just boosted my testosterone. All right, you paying the bills in your house and saying I got this. All right, that's being a man, and that boosts your testosterone. All right, knowing that, not doing, but knowing that you walk past the guy, you size him up, and you say, yeah, I could whoop his fucking ass. That is what makes you a man. And when you have those manly feelings and you have those things, that jacks up that testosterone, and that therefore jacks up your semen production, jacks up your ability, and now you got long, strong erections all day long because you feel like you are the controller of the situation. You see, when your boss asks you to do something and you say, no, fuck that, I'm not doing that, all right? That's when that testosterone bump goes up because you just told another man or woman, doesn't matter. You feel like the man in the situation. That's the point, all right? So, no, I ain't doing that. And if you want to write me up or do whatever, go ahead and do it. Now, I'm not saying go out there and lose your job, gentlemen. I'm just saying you could just say, okay, that's not that's not in my job description, so I'm not going to do that. So you got somebody else to do that. Have a nice day. All right? That's all you have to do. Just be nice about it. But what I'm telling you is you have to feel like a man. You have to take care of yourself like a man. You have to do things that make you feel in a manly fashion. Some of you, that might just be going to the gym and lifting weights. That's one of the best ways to increase testosterone. Building muscle actually increases testosterone production, and they work off of each other. More muscle, more testosterone, bigger muscle. That's the way it works. They combine on each other. So when you get with your wife, all right, if you're having sex the same way every single time, all right, that's a good indication that you're bored. She's probably bored because you're doing the same thing. And just because you can get the erection, eventually it'll go away because your mind gets used to it. That's what your brain does. You have something in your brain called the reticular activating system. Once it gets used to something, it becomes boring, and now it's not as great as it used to be. Remember that great house that you moved into and you were like, oh, it's my dream home. Oh, baby, I love it. And now you just walk around the house, I'm late. Where are the keys? Where are the kids? Get the kids. See, you don't even notice the house anymore. Well, you got that new car. You enjoyed that new car smell. And for a month, that car was the beast on the road. And now you just get in, you scratch it up. You don't care if you get dirt on the carpets. None of that matters anymore, does it? It's because you get used to it. And the same thing can be said for your wife. I'm sorry. But ladies, they don't want to hear that. You getting tired of me? Yeah. You come in with the same hairstyle, looking like a school marm, wearing your torn pajamas, and you expect us to... I want to feel like a man. And you know what a man likes to do? They like to have a woman with skimpy lingerie, maybe with the nipples missing, all right? Maybe with the crotch missing out of the panties, and you laying on the bed playing with yourself, because that is what turns a man on. So I know you guys might not be ready to broach that subject with your wives. You keep feeling like a wimp, and you'll keep having terrible erections, or ones that don't last at all. All right? When you feel like a man, that's when you're going to give it to her, and she's going to be like, was that my husband, or did somebody crawl in the window? That's what we want to see. We want to see some action. All right, ladies, so help your men do what I just said, and men, get up off your ass and become what you need to be to get those erections back to where you want them to be. I'm Alvin J, the most passionate non-doctor on the internet. I'm going to tell you one last thing, though. The book is going to be coming out on the 1st of February. That's the date I have set, okay? I'm trying to stick to that deadline. I know it's short. I've already written, I can't say most, half the book. But I got to get you all's testimonials in there. So if you guys if I have helped you in any way, I need you to go to the website. I need you to click on Tell Your Story, and I need you to write in the way that I helped you so that I can get those testimonials into the book and actually have some content from real people who have done it. I don't want to sit in the book and I don't want to give my opinion all the time. I want people to see the real effects on real people and how this stuff works. Okay, so I'll talk to you later again. All right, stay out of the hospital. It ain't the place to be, and give your hubby some loving. It ain't no fun if you can't help your husband get some. All right, so I'll talk to you later. Peace. And so, baby, get down with your dirty self.